What in fact, Twin Lakes? Jim Keithley back inside the indoor golf studio once again. And I want to say thank you to all of you who have reached out overnight and submitted some questions for us to attempt to answer about your golf games. So we're going to try to encapsulate some very broad and open-ended questions and try to take what we can and put them into a 2 or 3 minute video for you. So today's question, the one that I picked, the reason I picked it is because it's probably going to talk to most of the people that are hearing my voice right now. It was a simple question. Why do I slice? Okay, so now we're talking about all of you out there that hit cut shots, golf ball that starts left and spins to the right, doesn't travel as far, it's not as efficient. So today's question, why do I slice? I love this question. The reason I love it is the way it was asked. Why do I slice? The question was not help me fix my slice. It was why do I slice? Well, that's a very simple answer to a very simple question. Now, fixing the slice is complex. Now, why do you slice? The only reason that anyone that can hear my voice slices is that their club face is open to their path. And in most cases, a golfer that slices, their path is heading left, okay? I'm going to represent their path with this alignment stake. So they have a club path that's exiting left of the target line with an open club face. So the path comes this way, face points this way. So the path goes left, the face goes to the right. Here's a little closer look about what we're talking about. So in a perfect world, we need this club face to be traveling down this alignment stake in an effort to square up the club face. But if you are a slicer, a fader, a cutter, now this white line represents the target line. Your club face would be traveling on an outward path, heading left, and the face at impact would be pointing more to the right. So this would be a slicer. And in a perfect world, we want to make sure that this path is traveling more from the inside. Club path is traveling more to the right, and the face is then closed to that path. So here's what we're after. This is typically what slicers do. So just answering the question kind of in a vacuum is so easy, but there are so many elements that can cause people to do this. A poor grip, they can have their hands on the grip that are a little bit too weak. That is automatically going to open the club face. They can have a trail arm, and I see this more times than not. It's out of position, it's set up, it's too high and too external, okay? So let's assume that we've got the perfect grip, the perfect stance, perfect arm and wrist structures. Now let's add some value on how to try to take a little bit of this left to right curve and get it to curve more right to left. So we're always trying to add value to any type of lesson or practice session. So I have a little station set up here. We brought in our 2 alignment stakes that we use for more of a making sure and keeping us accountable for where our club path goes. And then I've added some visuals down here on the ground. This alignment stake and this alignment stake would represent the way that the club should be traveling, both on the way back and then back on the way down, post impact. And then this line and this line would kind of represent where our hands would be in space, okay? So my hand path would travel back and up, impact, and then down, and my hands would then be traveling back to the left. Now, if we add this, this is something that you can really use, and it gives you great information. Not only do we see the visual through our eyes looking down on the ground, but now as I get and turn my pivot and get my hands to the top, I want my hands to feel this blue noodle, okay? I don't want my hands to be on top of the noodle. I certainly don't want my hands to have too much depth or underneath the noodle. But once I get to the top, I have my wrist setter that stops and completes my swing. Now here's the key. We have to make sure that our hands travel down underneath the blue noodle. The club travels down on this line into an impact position, and we need the golf ball to go to the right. So I don't want this to be, which that is my target line. I'm even going to give a different visual. That's where I want the golf ball to take off. People that slice the ball have a really hard time starting the golf ball to the right. Everything starts left and then eventually spins right. So if we were to put this into play, I have the visuals looking down of club path, hand path, and I also have the cue of where my hand should be. So let's put a bow on this and wrap up this question. Once again, really good question because it speaks to the masses. Probably 90% of most of the people that play this game hit a cut, a fade, or a slice. We determined the only reason that any of us hit a fade, cut, or slice is because we have a face that's open to the path. The technology that we have indoors, we can predetermine where that path is heading. So it's important to know what your path is doing, number one, where your face is relative to that path. I will tell you this, most people's path is highly repeatable and consistent. So once we determine path, it just becomes educating the arms and the hands and trying to determine where that club face is at the moment of truth, which is impact. So hopefully this makes sense. There's a lot more involved in this, but this was the kindergarten version, the shrunk down version of why you slice the golf ball. So keep the questions coming. I love to answer 1 or 2 questions a week. So email me at keithleyboys@pga.com, or you can comment to any of the videos and put your question there. See you soon.